let's learn about the difference between perennials and annuals. Ow! I stepped on something pointy. Perennials and annuals. So perennials and annuals have to do with whether or not they come back. Things can be perennials in one place and annuals in another. So annuals, kind of what they sound like. You have to plant them every year. So annually, and perennials you don't. So this is a perennial. Look at the little ants. Hello, ants. This is a peony plant, another peony. I've got one over there. Those are perennials. They come back every year, at least in my zone, and I think they do in most. These are snapdragons. Most people grow them as annuals. However, in my zone, they can come back. They don't necessarily, but they can, depending on how harsh the winter is. So they could go either way. Back here we've got hollyhocks. They might be considered a hardy annual, I'm not sure, but they're perennial in my zone, so they come back every year. I don't have to plant them every year. For an annual, I've got peas growing here. I have to plant peas every year. They do not come back. Same with sweet peas, which are not to be confused with regular peas. They are flowers. They are not edible. In fact, they are toxic. So would not recommend trying to eat them. Like I said, even though they're an annual, they can reseed themselves. This one came back without me planting it because it reseeded itself. I've got some lettuce here. This is also an annual, have to plant every year. Got some carrots growing, an annual, have to plant every year. This one is actually a volunteer, it reseeded itself as well. I've never seen that happen with carrots. Theoretically it could, but in order for lettuce to reseed itself, you have to let it go to seed, which means you're not going to be eating all of it, which was fine for me. Right here is a sunflower. They are also considered annual. Sunflowers, however, are very good at reseeding themselves. So even though they are technically an annual, I get them year after year just because they do reseed themselves. But if you want specific varieties, you definitely need to plant every year. Or if you're doing cut flowers, probably plant every year as well. They are annuals, but they reseed readily. These are raspberry canes. They are also perennials. They will come back every year because they've got a great root system underground. Rhubarb is also a perennial. This one is not doing quite as well as I would have hoped. A lot of other rhubarb is a lot bigger by now, but it may just be my backyard. So this comes back every year. After a certain number of years, I've been told that it's good to replant, but I haven't had a problem. Strawberries here are perennials, and if you see the strawberries painted on rocks, it's actually because it tricks birds, and when they come and there's rocks instead of strawberries, they often won't come back when there are actual strawberries, so help save your strawberries from the birds. But yes, strawberries come back every year, and if you let them grow and move, they will put energy into new plants. And actually, if you want more strawberries, you need to stop them from doing that and cut them off, which I've been bad at, so my strawberries aren't going to be as good this year, so I need to stop letting them spread and start letting the plants individually grow bigger. This is a flower called echinacea, or also called coneflower. It's native to the US, and it also is a perennial. So if you want cut flowers or just border flowers that come back every year, perennial comes back. A couple more perennials and annuals. Asparagus is a perennial. It comes back every year. Annuals are a whole lot of things like your potatoes, your onions, your pretty much most veggies are annuals. Not quite all. Like I said, asparagus is a perennial, but most are annuals. So, and most fruits that aren't on a tree or a berry are also annuals. So a lot of things you have to plant every year. Herbs can go either way. Some of them just survive the winter if it's not too harsh. Like rosemary can survive the winter if it's not too harsh. But a lot of them you also will have to plant every year. So there's a good mix there. But if you want to know the difference, just if it comes back, it's probably a perennial. If it doesn't, it's probably an annual. And some things, it really depends on your zone. For example, tulips are a perennial where I live, but in a lot of places they're annuals because they need a cool period to be able to come back the next year, but they can't get way too cold or they'll struggle. So it'll depend on zones for a lot of things. If you're curious, look up your zone and the specific plant you're wondering about. But generally speaking, berries are perennials and a lot of other fruits and vegetables are annuals. So look into it. I love having a mix of both. I think it's great to garden.